Stu here with DREXTHAR Blood Twin, the champion you're going to be able to get from the bazaar after 2.12, probably next week. You do have to get 100 fragments from the bazaar. It's going to take you at least 100 days. You've seen all the content creator videos about it. It might take you 200 days, but it's a good goal to work toward. I really like that. Don't worry about the time it takes. You're getting a free legendary champion, and it gives you something to do every day and to work toward that goal. I like it. Plus, this guy has a 70 accuracy lead, which is really good anywhere you go. We're going to talk about what he can do at level 50 without any books. Right now, he is level 60 without any books. I've got some video from us streaming earlier today. We're going to play where he's level 50. But let's go ahead and play this Fire Knight where I know he can't die because we've got Blind Seer here. But we can look at the kind of damage he does and we can talk about his abilities. So let's look here. We're going to get an AoE decreased defense, right? There we go. AoE here, him. Now he hit for 30, 40,000, somewhere around there, 30 to 40,000, and we're not even trying to put out damage from him yet. We just got defense percentage, gloves, chest. We've got critical damage chest piece. We do have a 100% chance to crit. We've got 4,900 defense on him, so he's strong. The A1, let's talk about his A1. So his A1 hits somebody, one target 3 times and has a 30% chance to place an HP burn. And he can heal by 20% of the damage done if there is already an HP burn on there. Not really that great. I've got him in lifesteal gear right now. I'm sure if you're coming up in the game, you're trying to progress through things, you're going to want to put him in lifesteal gear to make sure he has that sustain, because he doesn't have sustain with his A1 normally. He doesn't do a lot of damage on his A1. It is based off of attack and defense. Believe me, we all complained a tremendous amount when we found out that he was gonna be free for us to get, or something we could work toward getting in the bazaar. So you know, I was right there in content creator chat. I was just complaining like crazy that his A1 needs to be based off of defense and hit a lot harder. It doesn't hit hard enough. His A2 hits insanely hard. Very good, just like anybody that hits hard. But his A2 hits an AoE damage that we already saw, but only has a 60% chance booked out to provoke. It's a 4-turn booked out, AoE provoke for 1 turn. But at a 60% chance to provoke the enemies. That's really, really bad. I'm sure that will be, I'm telling you, by the time you confuse this champion, that will have been changed. I guarantee you they're going to go to 100% chance to provoke with that. Now his passive has I think it's a normal 50% chance for us to lay down. He's got a passive. Whenever he's hit, he will burn the enemy at a 50% chance to burn them. And it goes up to a 75% chance with books. So right now we've only got a 50% chance, a 30% chance on his A1. The A1 with books just increases damage. The A2 with books takes it from a 40% chance to AoE provoke to a 60% chance to AoE provoke. Drops it from a 5-turn to a 4-turn fully booked out. And then he's got his passive. So he doesn't have, you know, there's not a big mystery with him. He doesn't have all this stuff, crazy moves or anything really super unique. But, I mean, the guy's burning. He should be applying burns. Unfortunately, burns, you know, we can only put 1 burn on each enemy out there. But they're strong if there are a lot of enemies, so everybody talks about spiders for this guy. I'm going to tell you right now, there's 5 different people, well, there's 4 different champions that I would play above him in spiders before I played this champion. It would be Tyrant. What do we got? We got Trunda with accuracy to make sure that she's going to put up the stuns and put up the burns on all the spiderlings. I would play Ignatius and Ultimate G before I played DREXTHAR Blood Twin to get through there fast, to get the burns up. Because he doesn't just throw out burns on everybody. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. He doesn't just go out there and automatically boom. Now you can use him as your off affinity tank in Spiders 20, sure. You can do that no problem. Bring in something like this is great. If you have Miscreated Monster though, you can use anything with Miscreated Monster. You could use 4 Armorgers and a Miscreated Monster. If you have Miscreated Monster and you want to put DREXTHAR in there, you can. I did it at level 50. You're about to see it in a minute. We're just going to jump in and out of spiders really quick to show you that he doesn't just, he's not one of those champions like all the rest that I just talked about that throw the burns out there so that we can get this going. So that we can get the spider boss dead, get that HP burn ticking from the spiderlings taking their turns with the HP on, because we don't want the boss to take a turn. We want that turn meter to stay down. That's why we have these 2 Armorgers here. But look, the burns aren't being thrown up. They have to attack him. He has to hit them with their A1. Unfortunately, I would, now if this is me, if I was to redesign him, I would make his passive say that anytime he does damage, he has a small percentage to apply a burn. That way his A2 has a chance to apply a burn. I would change the A2 to 100% chance to provoke for 1 turn, just like so many other champions are out there, to bring him up to today's time. And then within that passive, where you also, whenever you're attacked, you apply a burn, that passive also says that you heal by 20% of damage done. That way you're healing on the A1, the A2, and everything else. He wouldn't be overpowered then. He would just be a smoother version of what he is right now. Much smoother version. So we're getting up some burns. It looks like they're actually, the Spiderlings had a chance to come over and hit him a few times. Torment is provoking as well, so they're all going after Torment at times. They need to come over to our off affinity tank though. That way they can hit him and his passive can kick in, give them a burn. They can take a turn. We want them to be frozen with Torment so that Torment starts pounding on his A1 even more. If an enemy takes a turn with a burn on and a freeze, Torment will automatically do his A1. But it just, he doesn't, right now, if this was Ultimate G, if this was Tyrant, if this was Ignatius or Trunda on her A3 with an accuracy banner to make sure she can stun and then apply the burns, everybody would be burned up. And then Torment would be going ham, or if you had Miscreated Monster in here or whatever else, we would get the ball rolling and the Spider Boss would be taking its HP down and be dead. But with this setup, it's much harder to do. And I think it's because they're all gunning after Torment, so maybe it's a bad example. Plus, Torment's doing AoE provoke at a higher chance than he's doing. Let's just bring in somebody else in here to give us more heals, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And then we'll look at him at level 50. Who's somebody that can just give us some spot heals really quick? Nothing too fancy with him. What about Sathalia? There we go. She'll give us, I don't even know what gear. She might not even have gear on her. She should, but I know I've moved around things a lot. So she's got a 2-turn heal, right? And she can do turn meter reduction. Fantastic. All right, let's see. We've got our armor girders doing turn meter reduction. All the Spiderlings should be gunning for our off affinity tank, DREXTHAR Blood Twin. He's level 60. We have him in lifesteal gear to get that extra life. We don't have him in resistance of like 300% resistance to make sure we don't get these poisons. Unfortunately, we would probably want that. But we do have him in 4,900 defense. So he's got high defense to be able to take these hits. We just got saved by Sathalia. So see, look, he's got tons of accuracy. He's not even applying the burns all the time because he's only got a 50% chance to apply without books. 75% chance is much bigger, but even then, we weren't able to keep him alive. Unless you have Miscreated Monster or somebody like that, Sir Nick, you know the shields. If you have Miscreated Monster going through spiders, you can do it with anybody. You can do it with 4 armor girders, you can do it with 2 cold hearts, you can do it with whatever you want that keeps the turn meter down. So saying if you have a Miscreated Monster and you want to use DREXTHAR as your off affinity tank, well, you could do that with anybody, honestly. So he's not the best tank for this. And you see me coming in with people that should support him. So he's not that easy to pull off as your off affinity tank unless you have just an insane team. And probably, honestly, you're going to be able to use something else. But it's all up to what your roster has. He's not a bad champion. He needs to be revised a little bit. Let's go over to the video of where we were watching him at level 50, and he actually made it through all this stuff. No problem. It will be a much better thing to watch. Now, my head is actually behind me from the stream today. This is from my stream, so you might see me poke out a little bit. Let's go. Let's roll it, see what we've got. We're going in here at, okay, he's at level 50. You see him at level 50. No books, just like we had him at level 60 with no books. And we are going through here with all rares. So we've got Apothecary, we've got War Maiden, we got 2 Cold Hearts. A little bit dicey when we get to, okay, he healed up quite a bit there. Now we're healing up twice, that if they have a burn, he's going to heal by 20% of that A1. Plus he's got lifesteal gear on, so we're going to heal from that as well. So that kept him alive there. We've got Apothecary in here to help out, and we have 2 Cold Hearts and a War Maiden to go through this. Let's speed it up. I think you pretty much know how rounds go with this. Here we are, round 2. If we get War Maiden to drop her AoE decreased defense, we're going to whack them again with DREXTHAR Blood Twins, AoE, of course, anytime soon. We're going to skip to the boss. So the boss is always tricky no matter what you bring in there. Good damage, right? Even at 50, he was pretty decent. He's loaded up on defense. I mean, that's the way it is. Yeah. Okay, thanks so much for that. Subscribe, Mad Dog Mouse. Good to see you, my friend. Let's go to the boss here. Okay, now we're at the boss. We need those multi-hits, and we need to get lucky with Heartseekers, keeping the turn meter down. Where DREXTHAR, he has a 1, 2, 3. Look at that, 3-hit A1. He works for it, right? He works for it. Now we're going to get lucky with here. We're going to get lucky with a Heartseeker. No, we're not. Okay, we're going to have our masteries pop in. A few masteries, maybe for some turn meter reduction. Don't worry, it's going to happen. I did this earlier this morning. Okay, we got it down. Good. So did he help out? Was he a crazy difference in this team? Not really. There's a lot of people we could use for this. We could have Allure there. We could have other people as our, like that spot on my team, if I run an all rare team, can be any type of damage dealer that has a multi-hit on the A1. It doesn't have to be him. It could be anybody out there, because the burn that he's applying on the boss right now isn't going to take effect because we don't want the boss to take a turn. But if you're slow playing through, again, depends on your roster, whatever you have, he can be a decent champion. But I'm telling you, they're going to buff him by the time you're able to get him. So he's going to be even better. We're going to go through stuff even better then. So here we are on Spiders 20 again with Miss Creative Monster. Like I said before, with Miss Creative Monster, you can get through it with anybody with Miss Creative Monster. Seriously. Will he work for you here? Sure. Look at it. Here he goes. The two Armigers are going to keep the turn meter down on the Spider boss. Miss Creative Monster is going to keep everybody alive with those large shields, plus Ally Protect and Fear. Whenever an enemy attacks you with Ally Protect up with Miss Creative Monster, he gets a chance to fear them. Plus, with any kind of, you see these leeches he's putting up off of masteries from Miss Creative Monster, because Miss Creative Monster is like a legendary plus when it comes to spiders. Spider 20, spider anything. He is just legendary and beyond. So we're going to be able to beat this. We're going to get burns up slowly. Enough up on the spiderlings. Nobody's doing any kind of massive damage. Level 50 DREXTHAR. And we're going to be able to burn this out only because we have Miss Creative Monster or Sir Nick or Valkyrie. Whoever's giving you all those massive shields to make sure you survive, you can do that. But again, if you have 2 Cold Hearts, you can do this. If you have Ultimate Gaelic, it's much faster then, because then you do AoE spread of the HP up there, of the HP burns. You get those up there. So to me, we're going to have to come back to this champion. Basically what it comes down to is that they're going to have to make it to where it at least does an AoE provoke. I wouldn't mind it if they do a few other things for him, and then we will be really happy, like a Rosin Scarhide. Rosin Scarhide is a phenomenal champion which you can use as an off-affinity tank as well, but he's a phenomenal fusion. They were really, really good and really right to put in a champion like that for our permanent fusion, because he's so good for the game. And I just want this champion. I don't want this champion to break the game. I don't want this champion to be some kind of OP, overpowered Rhodos that we can get from the Bazaar, but I do want him to be a little bit better. I really do. I would love it to do an AoE and have a chance, like I said, on his passive, if he had a chance to burn on any move that he does, and then a chance to heal on any move that he does with his passive, and then also whenever he's attacked, apply a burn, I think he would be great. So great then. Really, really fun champion, and it's not like you're getting this champion day one. It is going to take you 100 days at least to get this champion. It's going to take a lot of other people 200 to 300 days to get this champion, depending on how they micromanage. And they're not, free-to-play low spenders are not going to reset their daily 3s tag team arena, 12s arena. They're not going to reset that and spend gems on resetting that to get gold bars. They're going to play it, but don't forget, you get your weekly gold bars as well. No matter what tier you're in, you get a few hundred weekly, a few thousand if you're up higher, gold bars each week. So I think it's gonna be okay. I think you're gonna be able to get this guy in 100 to 200 days, and you'll be ready for it. And then by then, they're gonna have a way for you to get gold, books, maybe specific books just to DREXTHAR only, even in those lower tiers, or maybe they'll open up books for everybody. And then on top of that, I bet they're gonna rebalance him to make him even better. They will. Let me know your comments down below. What do you think about this champion? What kind of comps do you use? The last video I put up about this, somebody said use a Arbiter, use a Apothecary, and just use DREXTHAR and take out Spider 20. Well, sir, I'm sorry, that's not true. You're not going to come in here with just an Arbiter, just an Apothecary, and a DREXTHAR and beast this unless you just have an insane speed in gear. I'm talking like, I've got almost a max out Great Hall. My standings and everything else. And gear-wise, no problem. So I don't know what you're doing or what kind of comments there are like that, but please give us reasonable comments down below on what's going on with what you use DREXTHAR Blood Twin in currently. I would appreciate that. But that's all we've got for DREXTHAR. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate the love and support. Please subscribe if you have not, and I will see you guys all on a video soon.